Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I want to dive into a fascinating concept that many might not have heard of, the psychic flesh type man. Sounds intriguing, right? Well, stick around as we explore how this identity ties into deeper issues of freedom and autonomy in our lives today. So, what exactly is a psychic flesh type man? Picture someone who not only experiences life like the rest of us, but does so with an added layer of psychic abilities. Imagine feeling someone's emotions before they even say a word or sensing things others can't. It sounds like a superpower, but this identity comes with its own set of challenges. Those who identify as psychic flesh type often feel a disconnect from the rest of society, navigating an existence that others might find hard to understand. It's a unique experience that can feel both empowering and isolating. Now let's talk about freedom and autonomy. For many people, especially those considered different, the struggle to maintain personal freedom in a world filled with constraints can be exhausting. Picture this. You're constantly aware of the judgments, the expectations, and sometimes the downright misconceptions from those around you. The psychic flesh type man often feels trapped by societal norms that just don't apply to his way of living. It's like being a round peg in a square hole, which can really weigh on someone over time. Now, here's where things get really interesting. Have you ever noticed how people from different walks of life interact? It's almost like a game. Rich folks sometimes adopt the mannerisms of the poor, the so-called hustle culture, acting like they're struggling, while the poor might externalize confidence as if they've got it all figured out. But why? This strange dance can obscure genuine understanding and connection between people. The psychic flesh type man often feels this disconnect painfully. When everyone is pretending, it's hard to know who's real and who's not, and that can be incredibly disheartening. Let's switch gears and talk about law and morality for a moment. Laws are supposed to protect us, right? But what happens when those laws feel arbitrary or unfair? For someone with unique abilities or identities, the law can feel more like a prison than a shield. Unfortunately, too often, these laws don't consider the nuances that come with being different. The psychic flesh type man may find himself grappling with legal restrictions that infringe on his natural right to express himself. It raises the glaring question: where do we draw the line between legality and morality? Now, let's get into the conflict between the psychic flesh type man and society. Often, society has this tendency to suppress those who don't fit its mold. There's a fear of the unknown that leads to misunderstanding and sometimes even persecution. The psychic flesh type man feels this the most, as he often stands out in a crowd. Instead of being celebrated for his differences, he faces resistance and skepticism, which is tough because everyone deserves to be heard and accepted for who they are. It's a call to compassion that we all need to remember. Imagine for a moment that the psychic flesh type man could sit down with society for a heart to heart. Why do you judge my existence, he might say. I'm not here to harm anyone. I see the world differently, but that doesn't make me less than. This dialogue emphasizes a yearning for understanding and acceptance, something that so many of us crave. The unseen struggles of living outside the norm deserve to be validated, and recognizing this can make a world of difference. As we wrap up today's chat, remember that the themes we discussed, freedom, autonomy, and the complexity of human interaction, are vital to human experience. Every person, regardless of their identity, deserves the freedom to be themselves without facing judgment. So let's take a moment to reflect on how we interact with those around us and strive to foster an environment that celebrates diversity. If you enjoyed this discussion, drop a like, share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more intriguing discussions. Until next time, be kind and stay curious.